Hi everyone, this is Kian. I am at Heathrow Terminal 4. Today I am going to Dubai. However, I'm not flying to Dubai directly. Today I'm flying Saudia to Riyadh, and at Riyadh I have a connection flight to Dubai. This is my first time flying this airline. To be fair, I don't really know too much about it compared to the other Middle Eastern airlines. The only thing I know about it is it's a dry airline, so that means there's no alcohol served on board, no matter which cabin class people travel in. So I'm very curious to see whether this airline is doing anything better than the other famous Middle Eastern airlines such as Emirates and Qatar. Without due delay, let's go check in. Saudia's check-in is in Zone F for my departure. I'm actually quite impressed by the entire branding of this airline because everything has the logo designed with some culture influence by their country. For example, this baggage tag, which has quite a nice pattern. And another thing is there's also a hand baggage tag on my backpack as well, which has a similar pattern. So I quite like a company which does branding throughout the entire service, no matter how small the details are. As a Skyteam elite member, I was able to use the Sky Priority check-in line for some reason. It's quite generous because usually only Elite Plus members could use the Sky Priority check-in lane. Additionally, my bag and my friend's bag have both been tagged with priority, which is also quite unusual because as a SkyTeam Elite member, the benefits can't really be shared with the other passenger in the same booking if they are not also an Elite member. Security is very busy at this time of the day. I am on the way to the gate now. Everything was very rushed today because I was on the Piccadilly line earlier, which had a severe delay, so I had to get out of station at Boston Manor and change to Uber to get to the airport, so I basically wasted about like 40-50 minutes. So for Terminal 4 at this time of the day, around 6 p.m, it's quite busy. Check-in was really busy, full of people. Thankfully, I could access the business class check-in because of the SkyTeam Elite status. The security check was busy as well. So if your flight is around this time of the day, I recommend coming to the airport much earlier than I did. I only arrived in the airport probably about 2 hours before departure. I have to say Saudia really impressed me before departure. It's just the attention to details, their branding using the patterns from their own country. I really appreciate any companies or any airlines doing that, reflecting the culture of their own country.
This time we're inviting our first class guests and business class guests on the SV118 to please make your way to gate 9 for boarding.
So I suddenly fell in love with Saudia because I was upgraded at the boarding gate. Also my friend as well. I think it's probably oversold, and maybe due to the very bare minimum SkyTeam Elite status, we were upgraded. I just got on board. As I said earlier, this airline is a dry airline, so there's no alcohol whatsoever. The welcome drink is anything from the menu. I just got an orange juice. It is really fresh. Following the welcome drink is the Arabic coffee and the date service.
اللهم إنا نسألك في سفرنا هذا الأمن والتقوى والإنعام والرضا. اللهم هون علينا سفرنا هذا واطوي عنا مرضانا. اللهم أنت الصاحب في السفر والخليفة في البحر الله واسع السفر وكابة المنظر وسوء المنخلد في المال والأهل.
I am in the business class lavatory. It smells really good because it has a few rig diffusers here. And the amenity has auto buffon. And hand hygiene, I assume is a hand soap. There's also a different hand soap here. It's very spacious. Another mirror at the back. An interesting find is that they have a bidet push. So it's like this Japanese toilet, but it's also available on Saudia. I just placed my dinner order. I really like the composition of the menu because from each course, the starter, the main and the dessert, there is always an Arabic choice. Apart from that, there is a Western choice and a vegetarian choice. I very much appreciate any airlines which highlight the culture of their own country, trying to sell the passengers what their country has to offer, no matter whether the passengers are visiting the country or they are just a connecting passenger. As much as I don't like Middle Eastern food, I appreciate the effort and the presentation of the menu. I chose to fly this airline, so I have to accept it is their culture, their airlines, although I did choose all of the Western dishes. Apart from the food items, I find their drink menu very interesting as well. Because they don't serve alcohol, they have a lot of non-alcoholic beverages which look very interesting. This is the non-alcoholic sparkling red wine from Jig 6, accomplished with a small pot of mixed nuts. This is honestly the very first time I've ever had a non-alcoholic wine. This non-alcoholic sparkling red wine smells like vinegar. Literally, like I spilled some white wine vinegar on the kitchen counter or something. And tastes totally different. It has a slight hint of sourness, but in general it's very pleasant, it's very smooth. It does not taste like wine at all, or sparkling wine. I've had sparkling red wine before. I don't think this non-alcoholic version tastes anything like it. Overall, I think it's a very good beverage because, as it says on the menu, there's no added sugar or any other additives. It's simply just a fermented grape juice. It's very interesting. I wouldn't buy it myself, but I think it's pleasant. Just saw some details of the tablecloth. It has the same pattern as the other items I've seen so far. I like the consistency and the little detail is really nice to have. The starter has been served, which is some chicken. Looks very good, and the presentation of the table is beautiful. Now I'm having the main course, which is the lamb. Let me see how tender the lamb is. I think it's just the right texture. I usually don't like meat too soft, and this one's just the perfect texture. Not so soft, not tough, it's tender. So now it's my dessert. I ordered the passion fruit cheesecake because I love cheesecake. I'm also having a cup of decaf coffee. It's very creamy, and I think this cheesecake is good, but just no passion fruit flavor. Very strange. The meal service has just ended. It only took 2 hours after takeoff for the entire meal to be completed. I think it's a very good amount of time considering the flight is only 6 hours long. And now I'm ready to go to sleep, I think. The cabin crews on this flight are really friendly, professional, and helpful. They're very proactive at checking on me, whether I needed more nuts, whether I needed more drinks. At one point on my table, there were like 3 or 4 glasses of drinks, and she didn't think that's enough. Yeah, I feel very thankful and very appreciative with their service. The Sky Chef came to my seat after the meal service, checking whether I was happy with all of the dishes I had, how tender the lamb was, and whether I was happy about it. And yeah, absolutely, I love the texture of that lamb so much. It's just very interesting that I've never really heard about any big press about Saudia in the UK. I think maybe because Emirates, Etihad, and Qatar are too big, and they kind of dominate the connection market from Europe via the Middle East to other destinations in Asia and Australia. But Saudia is actually very good. I feel from many perspectives, they are actually trying to match the services provided by those big 3 Middle Eastern airlines. For example, the Sky Chef, I think Turkish Airlines has it as well. The Amenity kit looks beautiful. I slept for about 1.5 hours and suddenly woke up for some reason and removed the eye mask and realized the lighting of the cabin had been changed to blue. It's actually quite bright. I think you're trying to create maybe a morning atmosphere. The leg room of this seat is really good. I am about 6'2", and I was able to lay down completely without my feet touching the front of this entire seating area. I like a firm bed, and then the seat provides a lot of support on my lumbar. So that's really good. I just ordered something off the menu to eat. I'm starting with some fresh fruit. I also ordered a cup of French press coffee. After the fruit, I am having some chicken burger in a beautiful pretzel bun and some vegetable chips. I also ordered a glass of the sparkling white. Just wanted to try, as I had the sparkling red previously. I just wanted to see whether there's any difference in the flavor and the scent. I actually quite like this. Somehow there's a note of a floral tea flavor behind it. Yeah, it is quite an interesting combination of flavor and scent. This chicken burger is massive, full of fillings. I think there are actually 2 fried chicken fillets with some pesto, some rocket, and 2 slices of mozzarella and 2 slices of tomatoes. It's really, really good. I just can't believe how amazing they've done the food on this flight. The presentation is beautiful, the portion is actually quite big compared to some other airlines business class. I wouldn't be worried I get hungry. I mean, it's only a 6 hours flight anyway, but I think the quality, everything is just amazing.
just went to ask for some black coffee from the coffee corner. Here's my black coffee. I also got some chocolate coated Madeleine. It's generously coated, like 3/4 of the size of the Madeleine is coated. And I found something super funny. This is called flat croissant. This is my very first time seeing this. Isn't just like someone who left the croissant in the backpack and then it was smushed by the other heavy items.
The setup of this lounge really reminds me of those kebab shops I went in Jordan. All of the dining tables are very close to each other. Secondly, the shape of the chairs look very identical to those white plastic chairs. And thirdly, have a look of the single-use cups, cutleries and bottles. It's just very takeaway kebab shop kind of feeling, I guess. I do like how consistent they are with the branding, the pattern on the cup, the pattern on this cup, the pattern on the tissue box, also the pattern on the corners of the displays as well. That's really nice. I like those details. I just arrived in Dubai airport. Hope you like the video of me sharing my experience in business class from London Heathrow to Riyadh and the very short economy flight from Riyadh to Dubai. I really liked Saudia and I wouldn't mind choosing Saudia in the future. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe to my channel.